Back in college, I took a photography class where Kodak D76 process was taught. Years later, when I was into film photography and wanted to develop my own films, I had pretty much forgot all technical aspects. So I started with the two words that I still remember, Kodak D76, researched for it, and bought the chemicals. Each chemical such as developer, stop bath, fixer, and hypoclearing agent all come with instructions on the package about how to turn them from their original state, powder or concentrate, into working solution. Powder and concentrate are for better storage life. They have to be liquefied or diluted into working solution before use. Making working solution is easy, but the instructions usually default to turning the whole bag of powder or a whole bottle of concentrate into working solution once for all, unless you have films constantly coming. You don't want to make working solution more than you can chew. Metaphorically speaking, the lifespan of chemicals gets shortened when liquefied or diluted. For example, a chemical in its powder state may be valid for a couple years. Once turned into concentrate or working solution, it may be good for 6 months in a full bottle. When you pour out a portion of it for use, the shelf life of the rest can be further down to 2 months because the portion you have poured out is now replaced with air, which is not friendly to the chemical. So while developing procedure is relatively easy to find, the chemical to water ratio, or the method for making desired amount of working solution at a time that is good for a few rolls without turning the whole bag of powder or the whole bottle of concentrate into clock-ticking potential waste is rather confusing, just like what you just heard. Back in 2012, I did some researches and worked out my initial chemical math and notes. Later, I managed to find a few sources of using D72 Dektol on developing films. Putting all the data together, I came up with my own recipe and stuck to it for a while. Those numbers were not perfect, but at least I was fairly satisfied with the results as a graphic designer. Recently, I picked up film developing again using a no-brainer kit that is good for about a dozen rolls of film. I made a video for it, and I also wanted to share my experience with the Kodak chemicals since they are the most known and common to get. I attempt to refine my ratio and notes before giving them out, but as I work the math, something just doesn't add up mathematically or seem right philosophically. Then my wife gave me a formula that can easily work out how much powder or concentrate is needed to make a desired volume of working solution. And it seems legit. I said to her, "No wonder you finance folks are good with numbers." To which she replied, "It's just high school math." The formula looks like this. On the left, it's net content over total volume of solution. An equal sign is in the middle. On the right, you put an X being the amount of content needed over desired volume of solution. To solve X, you rearrange the formula like this and work out the math. Take this D76 for instance. The package states it has net content 415 grams of powder, which makes 3.8 liters of working solution. So I put 415 over 3,800 on the left. I use 500 milligrams of working solution to process 2 films at a time, and I like to know how much powder is needed to make 500 milligrams of working solution. So I put an X representing the amount of powder needed over 500 on the right. Rearrange the formula as aforementioned and work it out. Now I know that 54.6 grams of powder is needed. Alternatively, I can round it up to 55 grams, which shouldn't hurt. As a result, I'll put 55 grams of powder in a container and add water till it reaches 500 milligrams. Let's take this fixer for one more exercise. The package states it has net content 946 milligrams of concentrate, which makes 3.8 liters of working solution. So I put 946 over 3800 on the left. I need 500 milligrams of working solution, and I like to know how much concentrate is needed for that. So I put an X representing the amount of concentrate needed over 500 on the right. Rearrange the formula as aforementioned and work it out. I need 124.47 milligrams of concentrate for 500 milligrams of working solution. Likewise, I can round it up to 125 milligrams to please the brain. As a result, I'll put 125 milligrams of concentrate in a container and add water till it reaches 500 milligrams. Easy, right? Now come to think of me having spent so many hours cross-checking researches and working out those numbers, ratios, and whatnot. I should have met my wife earlier, or at least run into one of those finance folks. Okay, the theory section is done. Let's move over to the practical section. Those are all the chemicals you need to develop black and white films. Depending where you live, the packaging may look different. This is the set I got in Taipei, and this is the set I got in Las Vegas. The rules are universal. Follow instructions, but use the formula to make your desired volume of working solution that suits your developing tank or any particular purpose. You need a scale, measuring cup, thermometer, glass stirring stick, and a container for the final liquefied working solution. Dark chemical bottles are better, but regular bottles will also work. Just avoid storage where strong light strikes. Kodak D76 powder pack is intended to be made into 3.8 liter or 1 gallon / 128 ounces working solution once for all. When using the content powder a bit by a bit for a smaller volume of working solution like 500 milligrams or 17 ounces, it's a good idea to shake the package before getting the powder out so that the ingredients inside are well mixed and consequently make even contribution to your desired volume of working solution. Work out the amount of powder you need using the formula. Chase out the air from the package and zip it. Keep all powder, concentrate, and working solution somewhere dark. For concentrates, they come in a hard bottle. There are vacuum stoppers and specialty containers that reduce oxidation. Otherwise, just keep them nicely stored and see as it goes. I'm not going through the making for all 5 chemicals. Instead, I'm showing a couple of footages where I turned developer powder and photo flow concentrate into working solution. Using tap water is fine if you don't aim at perfection, granted the tap water in your location isn't too abnormal. Otherwise, distilled water is a good option. After all, the preparation of working solution pretty much sounds like this: dissolving powder and diluting concentrate. The D76 developer bath time varies over brand and speed of films. You can find processing time and temperature inside film package box or on the internet. For a plentiful D72 Dektol paper developer on films, the bath time based on my recipe, if you will, is a universal 2 minutes at 25 Celsius, despite brand and speed of films. Also note the ratio 1:21 because the D72 Dektol instruction is meant for paper. Not good to work out your X from there. Normally I develop 2 films at a time for the total of 2 to 3 runs back to back. The developer will start depleting once used, so I try using my developer for 4 to 6 films over the shortest period of time. I add 15 seconds to the developer bath time for the second round and 30 seconds for the third round, then discard the developer. This method applies to both D76 and D72. You now have a general concept on how to turn the chemicals from their original state into working solution. Let's take a look at the developing process. This is the setup of my workflow. I placed chemicals in order and keep a big bottle of tap water nearby that had a similar temperature to the chemicals for pre-rinse and mid-rinse. Here's my version of processing timetable if you will, and I shall leave you be since I have already talked a lot. Have fun!